America is polarized, meaning that it's in two completely different sides. I don't want to say divided because that's been used in the political landscape for almost a decade now. But basically, what I'm trying to say is I've noticed a lot, especially online, how much America is just at war with itself for no real reason at all. But this has actually been going on for a long time. You see, there's this thing called church and state. They're supposed to be separate. What's ironic about it is the hypocrisy of America in of itself. Despite also, coming over, invading other people's territory and all that stuff aside, just from the church versus state, it's just all messy and muddled to begin with. For those of you that are unaware of American history, I'm gonna, make it really brief and short, and I might get some factual, specific details wrong, but essentially, the Pilgrims came over to the Americas to separate from Britain, who were mostly Christian and had high political rule over the people, and America wanted to be free. So the Pilgrims came over, but then Christianity took over the country, and then Christians and all of that tried to have political power over everybody. So it was literally just doing what the UK was doing. So how is it now in present day? Well, it's supposed to be church v. state. They're supposed to be separate, meaning that you don't mix politics with religion. This is under the idea that people will think in a more wide scope of thinking. They will think of the good of people and of humankind because not everyone follows your beliefs. Therefore, when you go into a political policy or a political type of debate, you want to think for the good of all people in America, even globally at some points. And you want to keep religion out of that because your beliefs don't matter in those senses of the word. However, that doesn't happen. That has never happened in the history of anything. Religion has always been mixed with the state, with politics. People put their personal beliefs in with their politics and nothing gets accomplished. And that's kind of where we are just as a whole in this country. And it's really frustrating because there are certain things that, could be accomplished and better for humanity. But because of religion, it's just not going to get there anytime soon, at least not while I'm alive, which is really depressing. But I just kind of wanted to talk about how polarized we are in the U.S. and you see it more and more every day, and it's kind of insane to the point where it's hard to have conversations and it's hard to even speak your opinion without ridicule, regardless of where you stand, regardless of anything. We live in absolutes right now, especially on the internet. And yes, most of this is the large minority that is speaking out, or the overheard minority, so to speak. Not minorities, there's a difference. Just like that 1% of people on the alt-right or alt-left is what I'm trying to talk about when I say minority in this sense. They're out, they speak out and they try to claim actions for everybody. And that also leads to problems. And we're just in this weird place where speaking your truth and being confident with your own opinions and being able to critically think is all out the window, basically, at this point. A big example I'd like to give about church and state is abortion, right? Abortion is a really hot topic, and there's a lot of people that are uncomfortable by it. I feel weird just saying it out loud. Christians are obviously against it, and so they force this policy in politics in order to kind of, get involved with that. And I personally think, my personal opinion is, it doesn't involve me. I'm not a woman, therefore I shouldn't have a say in abortion policies or abortion issues. I think we should leave that to a woman-only discussion, and women should be in charge of that, because it's not to be rude, but it's their problem, right? They are the ones that are dealing with these issues, and men getting involved is just another patriarchal bullshit. Anyway, I'm going on a tirade. But that's one thing, right, is where it's like the religious and political is getting mixed together, and it's not providing any beneficial outcome. I could speak more on that, but it's a pretty touchy topic for a lot of people. And like I said, I don't believe I have any right or any place to say anything. And I don't think a lot of men have a place to say anything when it comes to abortion, because we can't have kids biologically. So why are we getting ourselves involved? Regardless, to say, we live in contrarian absolutes right now, especially on the internet, and it's become a real big problem where you can't be one thing without the other. It's now black or white. There's no gray, there's no in the middle. And I like to stay in the middle, personally. I like to make sure that I'm getting all the facts straight. I like to make sure that I am adhering to my moral code and my road that I've set for myself. And then that's kind of where I place. I don't really go by labels. I don't consider myself, I definitely don't consider myself a Republican or conservative, but I also don't consider myself a liberal. I'm, I guess, apolitical. Is that the correct term? I try to stay out of politics as much as possible just because it gets me depressed and anxious. But to all case in points, I am OCDsaster. I follow my political beliefs. Yeah, I try to be a good person. I try to think critically and fairly, and I try to take perspectives of other people, and I base my decisions off of that, right? But this isn't about me. This is kind of more me just talking about how I'm getting frustrated so much by being on Twitter, by being online in general, and just how the scales keep going back and forth. You can't enjoy anything anymore without a whole nother group of people absolutely hating it. Or you can't say something is like okay but not great or bad. It's either one or the other. Especially like content, video games, movies. And then it's cool to like later down the road just like completely flip the switch. An example I like to bring up is Spider-Man No Way Home. People loved that movie when it first came out, and now over a year or so later, it's now cool to just like completely tear it apart. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but I think it's a good movie, and I know a lot of people thought it was a good movie, but now it's cool to just completely change your opinion. I don't know, it's really weird. And then also, like, Sonic Unleashed is a game that I really hated and did not like, and I personally don't think is good at all. And a few people, like quite a few people, agreed with me, but now it's like a cherished golden gem game. I don't know, it's really weird. That could just be an old man complaint right there. But it's just interesting how, like, there's no, like, middle line. It's always, like, you're either for this or you're completely against it. It's very, like, attacking. People are very, like, defensive automatically everywhere. Like, oh, you don't have the same opinion as me? Now I'm feeling attacked and I need to go. And it's getting to the point where people are snapping. And I think, COVID obviously had something to do with this. People just being, like, chronically online and taking everything they see personally, but and that leads into other people having narcissistic personalities and other people thinking the world revolves around them, main character syndrome. There's a lot that goes into the scope of the online stuff that I'm not going to touch right now, but it's just kind of crazy how everyone's judge, jury, and executioner. Everyone's opinion is the right opinion, everyone else's is the wrong. You automatically get labeled if you just don't agree. And it's insane. It's literally insane. What irritates me, right, is you'll go on Twitter, someone will say the R word on Twitter or like a YouTube comment, and then right underneath it, somebody will tell them to unalive themselves. Let's just put it that way. And to me, it's like they're both bad, right? Saying the R word is offensive. You're not supposed to say it. But the person underneath that is defending, basically virtue signaling the person saying the R word, is now telling them to unalive themselves. That's far worse, right? So, like, you see what I mean? Is like, and then that's starting this whole revolution, right? We're seeing a lot of these young men that are confused, and they're following Andrew Tate and Sneeko and a lot of these other very right-sided, very, controversial figures, because I honestly think it's like a rubber band effect. They're seeing the sides fight online. They're seeing, not just, the conservatives and the alt-right and the people saying all these heinous things and getting reactions from it, but then they're also seeing these social justice warriors, these very far left liberals coming in and just claiming things as their own and attacking people that don't share the same beliefs as them. And both sides are wrong. I want to emphasize this. Both sides are wrong to do that, right? And I definitely believe in freedom of speech, but I also believe in consequences. So you can have the right to say whatever you want, but there will be consequences for it. And karma is a thing. It needs to be more of a thing for some people, but if you say something hateful, you deserve the consequences. I hate this whole like cancel culture. I'm being canceled. No, you said something that was problematic and very bad, and so the consequence is that you can no longer host the show or your advertisers dropped you. Like, it's just being held accountable. It's being held accountable. I'm going all over the place right now, but you guys kind of see where I'm getting at here, right? I just kind of want this to be the jumping point for this channel as I'm moving on to this new form of content. I don't necessarily care about which side you lay on. I don't care about your religion. I don't care about your political opinions. I just want to have conversations, human to human, and I want to hear other people's opinions, but I don't want things to get hostile. I don't want things to get messy. That's very wishful thinking. It's very hopeful thinking. I think we can have these creative and intelligent critical discussions, but if things get out of control, then I'm going to lay down some bans, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the threat is there. But I just want to let you guys know that I'm trying to have this channel be a safe space, but at the same time, with a safe space, you should be able to say what you think. And then if people disagree, then we can have a conversation about it, right? Now, there's certain no-nos, like hate speech, hating other people, hating groups, using very offensive words, like all that stuff is definitely a no-go. Like I said, I'm under the impression of just being better for humanity. What is good and morally right and ethically right for humanity to thrive? Hatred has no place. Using slurs has no place. Bigotry has no place. Misogyny has no place. I don't know what the opposite of misogyny is, but saying that all men deserve to die and women need to rule the world, like that's inappropriate. That's not what I want as a platform here. So with that being said, I definitely probably turned some people away from this channel, but I think that's for the better. I think it's good to have open conversations about things and be able to talk freely without, feeling like you're going to be attacked. I am going to be attacked, but I can take it. I really don't care. But I know some other people, they're not as thick-skinned as I am, but yeah, that's just where I am. America is polarized. The U.S. is polarized. I don't see it being unpolarized anytime soon. Politicians are taking advantage of this. People are taking advantage of this. The internet's taking advantage of this, and it's looking grim. But hopefully, some people will be able to kind of push through and show that there is good in humanity. So yeah, that's it. Bye.